Sandalwood, Cuban cigar, smoked rum. That's what you're going to get in the brand new fragrance by the brand Guy Fawkes. This is a brand based out of California. The fragrance is called Primo. I've done a few reviews of this brand in the past. Of course, you can search them up here on YouTube. This is going to be a boozy, slightly sweet, sophisticated, night out on the town type of a fragrance. I'm looking forward to giving you my thoughts on this one very soon, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I give you my thoughts on Primo, the brand new fragrance by California brand Guy Fawkes, I'm going to talk to you about the smell, the notes, performance, longevity, comparisons, the evolution on my skin, so on and so forth. But before I dive into the review, I do want to mention that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, and of course, if you love smelling your best, hit subscribe, hit the bell, and also please give this video a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. It would really mean a lot to me. Sandalwood, Cuban cigar. Of course, this one is smoky, it's rich, it has a really interesting olfactory texture to it. There's also a bit of like this warm, ambery, vanilla dry down. And in addition to the sandalwood and the Cuban cigar, you're gonna get smoked rum. So inherently, there's going to be a bit of a spicy element joining this composition. And of course, if you are a fan of those ingredients, if you're a fan of spices and rum and booze and smoke and just a plethora of really intoxicating ingredients, you're going to want to stay tuned. Let's go ahead and start things off with a quick look at the presentation. So right in the opening of this fragrance, you are going to get this certain creaminess. It's very addictive, it's rich, it's creamy, and it draws you in. It's a very alluring scent. And in the opening, I would say I do get just a little bit of a similarity to Santal 33 by Le Labo, but it's so mild. It's like a 10% similarity. I would say the sandalwood being used here is probably on par with the same quality, or there are some raw materials, some aroma molecules that are putting me in that same frame of mind. But again, it kind of veers in its own direction. I really admire and appreciate it for that reason. So it does have this rich, creamy sandalwood aroma enveloping the composition. You're also going to get this Cuban cigar ingredient. So it's a cigar, tobacco. It's really rich. It has a tiny bit of smoke. It's not smoky in the sense that it utilizes birch tar or anything like that. It doesn't come across in that manner. But you are going to get this sort of a cigar vibe from it that I think is really beautiful. And you know, of course, if you enjoy fragrances like Xerjoff Naxos or Angel Men Pure Havane by Thierry Mugler, which is unfortunately discontinued now, I think you'll enjoy this one. This one takes away the honey. This one takes away that sweetness because I think Naxos is a lot sweeter than this one. This one is much darker. And I think it's more realistic as far as the tobacco is concerned. However, it's not this ultra earthy pipe tobacco as the one you'd find in fragrances like Bois d'Ombry by Eau de Thalie. And it also doesn't smell like the pipe tobacco that you'd find, that cherry moistened pipe tobacco that you'd find in Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. So this one is kind of in the middle, which is really interesting. And, you know, I enjoy the fact that this one is kind of surprising you along the way. It's not something that you would have expected. Maybe one might have anticipated this to smell similar to Tobacco Vanille, for example, or any number of other tobacco-based fragrances, but it doesn't. And I appreciate the uniqueness and the originality behind this one. Now, as far as the rum is concerned, I don't think this one is overly spicy. I think this one definitely puts you in the mindset of visiting, you know, Havana or visiting, you know, some part of Cuba, you know, with that rum and the Cuban cigar. And, you know, this one is a very warm, sophisticated, mysterious, and masculine fragrance. I don't know if it's marketed for men or if it's unisex, but it definitely puts me in the mindset of something a bit more on the masculine end of things. Nevertheless, please try this one if this is in your olfactory wheelhouse. If you like these types of fragrances, at the very least, see if you can get a sample, because I would imagine that this one would be right up your alley. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I named and rattled off the names of a number of other tobacco-based fragrances. This one is quite different. So I appreciate that. I admire it for its uniqueness and the fact that it does deviate from a lot of those other DNAs, Longevity on this was about 8 hours on skin. Projection was good for the first hour, 45 minutes to an hour of application. It radiated within an arm's length, so it doesn't have a lot of citrus in here, right? It's not this ultra bright diffusive fragrance, but it does stick around for a while. Like I said, about 8 hours. Versatility, masculine leaning. I think it would appeal to an older demographic. I think this fragrance can be worn more comfortably in a formal scenario. I don't think it's super strong that you can't wear it in the summertime. You just have to be light on the trigger. But I think myself personally, I would love to wear this one in the autumn. I think this one is a great fall and perhaps winter fragrance. Perhaps in the winter you can spray a bit more liberally. And as far as the presentation is concerned, very simple cardboard box, nothing fancy about it. I do like the simplicity of the presentation, but at the end of the day, it's the juice inside that counts. My final verdict on this fragrance is I think it's a great, warm, rich, tobacco, spicy, slightly boozy, creamy type of a fragrance, sans the sweetness. Try this one if it sounds like it's up your alley. Primo by Guy Fawkes. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you took something of value from my review. If you did, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it, hit the bell, and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you again so much for watching. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow with a new episode. Bye.